Oh, by the way, there's a book here, Spirit of the Dancing Warrior. Now, I see that you got another book of mine today. Thank you so much for taking it. And thank you twice as much if you read it. You know, can I see that book for a sec? I just want to show you something. I learned a lot over the years after you start writing. Do you notice, okay, here we go. Do you notice the font? How big it is?
Thank you.
That's for you. That was my gift to you. But look at the font. And not only that, but there's so much space there. It kind of invites you in. It says, come in, read, love it. It's beautiful. So you're more likely to go in there. And I have it divided up into small chapters. The coaching book, the longest, most of the chapters are like 2 pages. God, I can get into anything for 2 pages, you know what I mean? So this book here, I'm just going to put this out there because I didn't think about it ahead of time, but Spirit of the Dancing Warrior. For the coaches in this room who care to carry the message into your locker room, I have a great suggestion. The reason I wrote this book is for coaches who ask me all the time, Jerry, what you say, I love it, I want to do it, but I get to the locker room and I don't know what to say. How do you carry the message? This book was written for that kind of coach. It helps me. I use it in my locker rooms too. And what you do is they have the topics in here, okay? Emptiness, gratefulness, commitment, respect, partnership, perseverance, reflection, compassion, patience, fortitude, humor, mastery, suffering, courage, trust, fear, failure, yielding, instinct, beliefs, beginner's mind, cycles, readiness, all that stuff, right? All the good stuff. So what you do is very simple. It's a 2-page chapter, and you want to read focus. So you read focus, 2 pages, and then you look at your team. You don't have to do a thing. They have all the answers inside. You got to trust that. You're a coach. You think that you have to tell them everything. You just have to open them up and let it out. And what you do is, so you read something like focus, or you read something like fortitude. Fortitude is something that wins world wars, you know. That's an amazing concept right there. And then after you read the 2 pages, you look at your team, you say, okay, so tell me, how is that relevant to our journey? And you should see what you get out of these kids. How is that relevant to our journey? It's amazing. And they love it because what it does is, like every Monday, they know they're going to be hit with this side of the game, the more, deeper, meaningful, heart-related story stuff. And then what a good coach will do is when they're out in the field, they'll blow a whistle. Not when they made a mistake or when they did some great physical thing. What they'll do is they'll make a whistle blow and they'll point out, wow, Becky, what an amazing show of fortitude. I love it. Did everybody see Becky? Huh? Yeah, say yes. Yeah. Did you see Becky? Amazing. Fortitude. All right, there you go. That's what I want. Who else can do it? Can you do it? Okay, let me see you do it. And then you just go back and forth. And you spend a day doing things like this. Don't worry about the X's and O's. You'll get them in. They'll be there. And the higher you go, the less you have to deal with that. I'm sure Steve is in teaching a lot of X's and O's at his level. In fact, if Steve can sit in the stands and let them play. Let them play. What a concept. Do you think they're not going to know how to play? X's and O's? But because he gives them the confidence and the permission to be who they are? Okay, so back into the facts. F, fearlessness. Let's talk about fearlessness. Most fear comes out of the fear of failing, and our society reinforces it. We're all afraid of failure. We're petrified. It's abominable, an abomination of life, failure. Hey, the greatest teacher I've ever had was failure. Every book that I ever wrote was rejected for publication, on the average between 8 and 10 times. I learned every time from those rejections. How do you learn how to use their devices? Trial and error. Use your intuition. Figure it out. That's life. Failure? I once heard an expression, success is 99% failure. I believe it. I believe it. The Buddhists have a wonderful expression to sort of give me a vision. It says, the archer that hits the bullseye is the result of 100 misses. You're a coach. You can teach this, but you've got to buy into that. Do you want your athletes to embrace the setback when it occurs, the failure, the mistake, the error? Because if they don't, they're going to be afraid. And if they're afraid, they're going to be weakened. Fear weakens everybody. I don't care how strong you are, physically, mentally, emotionally. If you have fear, it's going to weaken you, and that weakness will translate into performance. I love to watch a team that's not afraid to make a mistake. You watch a team that's afraid to make a mistake, the kids are dribbling the ball down the court, they're looking over their shoulder, they're worried about being yanked out of the game. As I said yesterday, the great, amazing, iconic coach, Dean Smith, would never, ever pull a player if they made a mistake. Because his philosophy is, let them stay in there. They'll learn from it. So they're not afraid of mistakes. The only time you take somebody out, as John Wooden would, the only time is if they don't know what's going on. Hey. Or you're not hustling. That's all. That's legitimate. And then you call them over to the side and you say, hey, Mike, listen, man, I took you out of the game. You just didn't look like you knew what was going on. Can I help you? I'm your coach. Not, what's wrong with you? Why are you out there? I told you what to do. Get over there. No, it's more like, I'm a coach. I got to bring you to that place. Mike, listen, what's going on? Help me out, big guy. I know you know what's going on. How can I help you? I'm your coach. Coach is an interesting word. You ever notice some of these huge buses going down the street or the highway? And what does it say on the side? Coach. It says coach. You think that's a busload of coaches? It says coach because of one reason. Because it takes you from there and it delivers you over here. That's what your job is. And my job is to take you from here and to guide you over here. Why? Because you want to and you're ready. You want to and you're ready. So the bus stops here. The bus stops right here. And the door's open. And the bus driver looks at me and says, Jerry, come on, you getting up? Nah, I'm not ready yet. No, I got to wait. Okay, door's closed and the bus goes and I lose the bus. I leave it. I'm not ready yet. The doors open up. When I'm ready, I get on that bus and you're going to take me where I need to go. So, fear. What are we afraid of? Afraid of pain? Part of the cultural values we'll talk about is suffering. So if you're a coach, once you get that piece of the suffering, then you'll be able to talk to your athlete about suffering and what that means. Okay, let's move on. Number 2, awareness. Awareness is AFA. Awareness, to me, is meditation. Now, I'm going to go right by this because on Sunday morning, I'm going to spend a good deal of time giving you a program that you can easily implement with your teams or with your own self. And what I do is a westernized version of the Buddhist Vipassana meditation process. And this is becoming mainstream right now. Phil used to have a room in LA for his athletes, and he called it the warrior room. Not the worrier, the warrior room. And that room was for Shaq and Kobe and others to come in there and meditate before practice, before a game, to get their minds and hearts aligned. Right? So we can do this. And I'm going to do it tomorrow. And the way I use this meditation process is, again, I use it prior to practice, I use it prior to a game, and I use it at halftime. Real simple. And what I do is I tailor the process to that particular time. So obviously, pre-game, the night before, the meditation will be a little bit more inclusive than halftime. So at halftime, we have 15, 12 minutes. Okay, we get 6 minutes of X's and O's, 2 minutes of Jerry, and 2 minutes to talk about it yourselves, or whatever, you know? But it's included. We'll talk about this Sunday. So I'm going to leave that, but that's A in our culture. And all of the championship teams I've ever worked with did it religiously. They developed the practice of meditation. I, for one, have an ongoing practice of meditation in my life on a daily basis. And that sets me up. It sets me up to be with you in a way that I need to be with you, in the way that you need me to be with you. So this might have some translation into your own personal life. And perhaps it's already going, but if not, then you can decide. It's real simple. Don't worry. It's not going to be hard. It's not rocket science. It's a skill. It's not like, woo. It's science. I mean, I'm going to demonstrate that to you. I'm going to show you scientifically what this does to your body. I'm going to do that tomorrow. That's just a way to get you back. I know you want to see that. Okay? All right, number 3, FAC. The C is, okay, so it's all about competition, but the C really is about confidence. What if you had a team and you had some players there that constantly lost confidence? I'm going to show you right now how you can teach your team to always have confidence. Raise your hand if you'd like to know how to always have confidence. Anybody doesn't? Okay, that's pretty cool. Does anyone know exactly how to do that? No, okay. I don't think anyone really knows exactly how to do it, but I got a great idea. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at competing. 98% of the population that has some form of competition coming down the road. And by the way, this works so well at the high school level. Where's Mike? Mike, are you here? Mike? Stand up, Mike. Mike's an amazing athletic director for this school right here. And he invited me in. Okay, thanks, Mike. He invited me in to work with the basketball team. And that was the team that went to state with Sean. And we had a little session out here. And I'm giving you exactly what I gave this team. However, I also did this with Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Through Steve. I didn't do it with the guys. So I want you to know that I have the confidence to give you this knowing that this is going to really help. I do know that. And it's learned over a period of time from all of these. Remember, I'm the hole in the flute, right? I'm not the flute. And so, okay, so here's what I want you to do. There's 2 columns of competing and confidence. The first column on the left side, if you're drawing this down, is showing up to win. Showing up to win. That's what 98% of the teams do, right, Coach? It's like, okay, we're going to beat them. We're going to kill them. Bring them on. We're going to win this game. When that happens, your focus is on outcomes and results. Follow this thought now. There's a logical sequence here. Your focus is on outcomes and results. And then I always ask my athletes, can you control outcomes and results? And you always get some smart ass in there, someone to say, yeah, I can do it. Okay, then why don't you win all the time? Because I can't control outcomes and results? Bingo, you got it. So there's no way you can control outcomes and results. You can influence them, but you can't control them. And what happens when you can't control somebody or something? I'll tell you how I feel. I get tight. Like if I'm at the foul line, at the front end of a 1-and-1, right? And I'm getting ready to shoot, and there's 1 second left on the clock, and I'm down by a point, and I've got a 1-and-1 situation, OMG, right? Like, holy Christmas, what am I going to get out of this? Am I going to get a basket? So what are you thinking? You're thinking outcomes and results. Right away, you get tight, tense, and tentative. That's why you see an air ball with professional basketball players in those situations, because they're thinking, I have to make it. So there's a very high probability that your athletes are losing confidence because they're focusing on outcomes and results. So as a coach, I'm not going to emphasize outcomes and results, and I'll show you what to do after this, because they're uncontrollable. And you explain this to your team. And you say, as your coach, I don't want you becoming tight, tense, and tentative, because when you do, your confidence is going to go down, your self-doubt will go up, and your performance will suffer. That's a flow chart, and it's pretty accurate. In my life, if I come in here, let me give you an example, personally. If I'm worried about whether you like me, if I'm worried about whether I make a mistake, and God knows how many mistakes I've made already today, if I'm focusing on that, I'm going to be tight. The arterial pathways to my brain will close down. They'll constrict. Oxygen will be inhibiting my functioning, and I won't be able to think clearly, and so I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to feel awkward. So I have to understand my confidence is down because of that. So let's bring this a step further. If I have a group of athletes saying that are feeling that they're losing confidence, like when Syracuse University women's lacrosse went into the ACC championship last year, they had lost to every team that was in that tournament, the top 3 teams, and the issue was confidence. And I said, no problem, guys. If you can commit to doing the right thing and focusing on what you need to focus on, what you can control, you're going to be okay. They wound up winning the ACC, beating the number 2, 3, and 4 team in the nation. And I still contend it had a lot to do with where their focus was. They did not show up to beat that team, and their performance would have suffered. So what I do is I turn it around and I say, okay, we want to show up to compete. We're a culture that competes. We're a culture that competes with heart. And then I get buy-in, because what we do is we list what that competition is all about. Now let me show you. So we go to compete. The focus shifts from outcomes and results to all the little things. To all the little things. You know, I always say, do the little things brilliantly and let the big things marginally float away. Do the little things brilliantly. My little things right here is eye contact, my voice, my inflection, my energy, my caring for you, my preparation, the work that I've done to get to this place. Those are the little things. And then from little streams, as the Buddhists say, from little streams come big rivers, right? That Colorado River, it's not an accident. It comes from a drip up there in Estes Park. A little drip, and then another drip over here, and they all flow in and cause the Colorado River. That's how national championships are won, all the little things. So what we do is we're a culture that competes with heart, and we do the little things because they're controllable. Let me give you an example. So in 2015, site of the crime, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Golden State Warriors. Steve's walking down the street. Jerry, the media is going crazy. They're all talking about how this is a must-win game. If we don't win this, we're down 3-1. They were down 2-1, if you recall. It's a 3-1 situation. No one wins from a 3-1 situation except Cleveland this year. So much for that theory. But anyway, at the time, Steve's concerned. And he says, Jerry, what can I bring to the locker room? What can I tell the guys? And what I tell him is, Steve, simple. You know this. I'm just going to remind you. This is not my wisdom. It's yours. I just want you to tap into it. And that wisdom is this. You compete like crazy. You do the little things. Okay? So, the little things, I'm going to remind you about this over and over. The little things are particular to the sport, whether it's soccer, swimming, golf, tennis, basketball, whatever it be, like basketball. Okay, so I said to Steve, all you guys got to do is crash the boards, sprint your lanes, box out, get your body on another body, play amazing defense, in-your-face defense, and dive for that 50-50 ball. And then I said, strong facts. Bring them back to strong facts. Bring them back to being selfless, playing for each other, oneness, one heart, one soul, one goal, be the best we can. All those kind of cultural values. I said, remind them of the cultural values, but let them do the little things because they can control them. They can't control outcome and results. And they went out and beat Cleveland, right, that night. Because what happened was they went out there and they didn't feel, after reading the papers and looking at ESPN, you know, they must win and it's a must-win situation. All Steve said to them was, guys, these are his words, compete like your hair's on fire. Compete like crazy. Now, here's my affirmation I gave to him. When we compete, we're difficult to beat. Ah, yes, right? When we compete like crazy, we're difficult to beat. But if we're going out there trying to beat them, not going to happen. All right, this is the culture. So when I do that, you feel more calm, relaxed, focused. Confidence always goes up, and performance is enhanced. So I have, let's erase this because we don't want to go here. That's not where we want to be. I'll finish with this and then I'm going to put something up there. So A and B, A plus B equals like wonderful feelings. A is the little things and competing, individual sports. So in soccer, you know, first touch, you know, all the stuff, you know, 50-50 ball. Figure out what the five little important essential absolutes are with your athletes. Put them on a board. And then, since you've been building the culture, you tell them strong facts. You can control everything I'm telling you. Everything I've told you last night, everything I'm telling you now, and everything I tell you tomorrow, you can control. And when you can control it, your confidence goes up. Your confidence goes up, you feel better, you feel more relaxed, more in control. That's when things really happen. So these are very practical ways to have what I call, in Latin, semper confidere, always confident. And interestingly enough, too, is you could be invictus spiritus. How about that? Invictus spiritus. And invictus spiritus means never defeated. And you're never defeated if you control what you can. They can never defeat your spirit. Never. I dare you to defeat my spirit today. I dare you to do something. You can fall asleep in front of me, and I'm still going to give my all. You're not going to lose me. You're not going to get rid of me. I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to be here for the entire duration. You have a choice. You can leave, or you can stay. But you'll never defeat me. You'll never discourage me. Sean, you won't. I dare you. And that's the attitude that I want to do and build in my culture. I want my athletes to believe in themselves, not that they could win. I want them to believe that they can control those little things and that they are a culture of strong facts and that they can never be defeated. I refuse to let my competitor defeat my spirit. U.S., us, United Spirits. Okay? Let's take 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I want you to partner up. And I want you to sort of go through this conversation. We talked about fearlessness. We didn't talk much about awareness. That comes tomorrow. So let's talk about, look at fearlessness, the concepts I threw out, and also let's look at this idea of competing like crazy and doing all the little things and getting the confidence that we need. So hook up with somebody here, have a good time. I'll give you about 5, maybe 6 minutes, and if you're really good, maybe I'll give you 7. We'll see. Well, I'm going to watch you. I'm going to see how into this you are. Okay, go ahead.